South side of Pittsburgh is being talked about in a massive fashion this morning. A man wearing a Washington State football hoodie with a jersey hoodie, I believe, had a large shiner on his right eye that appeared to have some stitches, and his arm, I believe, was in a sling. He is alleging that Aaron Donald punched him in the face this morning in the south side of Pittsburgh at a club called the Boom Boom Room, which is an after-hours club that was open at 3 a.m. I assume they're open till 5 to 6 a.m., standard after-hours clubs. Now, if you've listened to this show and if you've heard me ever speak about the south side of Pittsburgh, you'd hear a few things. South side of Pittsburgh, Guinness World Record holder, by the way, for most amount of bars per capita, basically, of space. Jeez. It is a Bourbon Street, but bigger. Okay, longer and everything like that. Just kind of a straight shot. It's a longer distance. There are bars everywhere. St. Patrick's Day in the south side, maybe heaven on earth if you're just an absolute drunk. There are bars open 6 a.m. and it's just back to back to back to back, but it's in Pittsburgh. So there's a lot of places that have things like Nashville has Broadway. You know, there's Bourbon Street. I think there's a couple other places that I think Chicago maybe has a little bit of a run. Detroit has a run. I think it's called Greektown or whatever. It just seems like the south side is the longest. And also the south side, by the way, also the grittiest. Okay. So whenever you're going to Pittsburgh, well said, literally called a steel town. Okay, that's what it is. Iron City is the beer of choice in Pittsburgh. It is known as the sootiest air for a long, long time. Was like this is what Pittsburgh is. Okay, very proud to be from Pittsburgh, but I think everybody kind of understands Pittsburgh. You have a little bit of a different, a little bit different aura to you. Probably what makes this show good, actually, is because I think people are being introduced to it because most people from Pittsburgh either never leave Pittsburgh, and if they leave from Pittsburgh, they're told to never act like you're from Pittsburgh ever again. But I'm very proud to be from Pittsburgh. Dig's very proud to be from Pittsburgh. Nick's very proud to be from Pittsburgh. It was never really given a national spotlight on a regular occasion. There's a couple shows that were shot out of there, I believe, not that famous. There's movies that were shot out of there. But the Yinzer, which is what people from Pittsburgh are really called, has never really been described. Let me tell you what a Yinzer is. A Yinzer is a hard-working, drinking, tough son of a bitch. Okay, that's just what it is. Fast talking, will talk shit to you. It is probably coming out a little bit negative, expecting you to send one in return, and then we're just going to move along. That is kind of how Pittsburgh people are. In that strip of bars being as big as it is, with how drunk people get, with what I just said about Yinzers, you could see how potential 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., almost a war zone out there. Yeah. Like legit, whenever UFC came into the world and made a big thing and Affliction shirts were like the costume of UFC watchers, and you got a chance like, okay, this person has watched Chuck Liddell punch somebody in the face and do an armbar or a tackle, so this person thinks they can do that as well. When's the perfect time for that person to display that new trick that they have found from watching UFC on TV? 2:30, 3 a.m. Carson Street, Southside. Everybody's drunk. You got to do it. So it's just a known place that if you're on Carson Street in the Southside, you have to have your head on a swivel. It's just how it is. If it gets late night, I didn't even know there was an after-hours bar on Carson Street. I've been to an after-hours bar in Pittsburgh, in downtown Pittsburgh. I think I've been to one in the North Shore. Diggs actually referred to a Russian one that he's been to before. But Southside closes. And when Southside closes, everybody goes out onto the street. And that is when you have to keep your head on a swivel out there. Did not even know there's an after-hours bar, but if we were to go into the Boom Boom Room, I believe we would all say, hey, same mindset as when we're on the street. It is 3 a.m. We are still in Southside. I guess it is being alleged that Aaron Donald, although probably not wearing an Affliction shirt, did get into an altercation. And surprise, surprise, the man that is potentially described as the greatest football player to ever play, trains with knives in the offseason, apparently, allegedly, knocked this fucking guy out. Big time. Big time. This is nowhere near the first fight that has happened on this street. This is probably, maybe, I would say there's probably 7 figures worth of fights that have happened on that street. Legitimately. You are just walking around and you are seeing people just get clipped off some nights. Now, granted, There's some nights where everybody's in unison and it's a big family. It's awesome. How you doing? But then those nights, all it takes is one just to, and then, of course, can't fuck him, take him down anywhere, this guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. We had friends in our groups that were the assholes too. Like we all had friends in our groups that were the assholes that were starting fights. We would tell them not to, don't do it. It's just something that happens down there. So I'm happy the world is getting to learn about the south side of Pittsburgh. I don't want you to ever fear going there because it's a great time. It is an absolute blast. But whenever you're moving after the clubs, you just need to know, like, hey, there's a chance something could pop off around here. Other than that, though, everybody's on the same page. It's Mardi Gras every night there. Everybody's ready to have a good time. But anybody that knows that type of life, whenever the doors open and whenever things get late, there's always a chance shit could pop off. It seems like allegedly Aaron Donald was a part of this. I would like to hear his defense because I would assume there's a potential full story to this thing.
Yeah, and just based off what we know of the guy, and we met him at the Super Bowl, he's very calm and kind of like mild-mannered and not very, you'd think that if he
knows he's Aaron Donald.
Exactly. He's not just looking for fights. I would assume this guy was doing some outlandish stuff.
Now, this is what people are going to say. Why was Aaron Donald at the Boom Boom Room at 3 a.m.?
Enjoying his offseason.
Yeah, come on. This is what people will say, though. With that much money, or Aaron Donald, blah, blah, blah. And to your guys' point, he likes to have a good time.
He's back home
He's with his
partying.
friends. He's donated, by the way, an entire facility, I think, to the University of Pittsburgh back there. He just, you know what I mean? That's going to be the first take is, why is Aaron Donald at a place at 3 a.m.? It's like, maybe just want to have a fucking good time.
He's a hard worker. He's blowing off some steam.
Hey, so sorry. By the way, Wiz Khalifa sings an entire song, Work Hard, Play Hard. That's kind of Pittsburgh, by the way. That is just kind of Pittsburgh and Wiz Khalifa, by the way.
In the video, he's in an after-hours bar.
Yeah, so, I mean, that is just kind of how... it's just it's the city. I don't like that. I'm not saying it. If you felt like you were wrongly assaulted, press charges, do what you got to do. Okay, I understand. But this feels like this is potentially a situation that happened at 3 a.m. between two people, and one guy happens to have, $700 bazillion.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other guy doesn't. But that is why people say you can't put yourself in that situation. Aaron Donald would probably learn from this. He's probably going to be a hermit now, if I had to guess.
As an 8-year resident of Southside Pittsburgh.
I don't know how. I don't know how you live down there. I have no idea.
Everyone's fighting down. And I texted my buddy. It was actually the Polish Army Veterans Association that we drank.
Oh, so it wasn't the Russians.
It wasn't the Russians.
Okay.
It was
the Polish. Hey, by the way, the Polacks will keep their place open for you.
Cash only operation, obviously.
Yeah, the Polacks are counting all that too.
Yeah. But don't be scared to go to the south side. It just that you act as if.
Act as if.
Don't stop. Don't stop moving.
Yeah, because then you're in somebody's way, and then there's a potential
bump. That's probably what happened. It was an accidental bump situation. Things get out of control. Everyone's peeing in the alleys down there. And
it is, by the way, it is insane. It is a good time. I feel like it hardened me. It made me ready for just about anything. And I had obviously done Southside much long before I did Bourbon Street or whatever. And I go down to Bourbon, and I just had an absolute blast. I was like, it's a good time. And at the end of the night, I was just walking around. I was the last I think we were the last people walking through the street of Bourbon, wherever. I'm like, this is kind of nice, man. Like, this is a really nice place. Everybody's celebrating. It's cool. And there's no chance that you have to potentially, not get hit. And I think that's the difference. Like Bourbon Street's been marketed and commercialized. Southside is for the people of Pittsburgh.